There are doors in this life, not made of wood, not made of glass, but made of words. And for most people, those doors stay closed. Not because they don't deserve what's on the other side, but because they've never spoken the key. You see, there is a phrase so charged with authority, so wrapped in divine permission, that the moment it passes your lips, it begins to move mountains in the unseen. Not someday, not when you're ready, but the very moment you speak it, with the understanding that it was never about asking, it was about allowing. Most people whisper their dreams like fragile wishes, hoping the wind might carry them somewhere safe. But this is not a wish. This is a command wrapped in faith. The difference is night and day. When you wish, you hope. When you command, you expect. An expectation, true, grounded, unwavering expectation, is the master key in the lock of wealth. Imagine a door. On the other side, every opportunity, every provision, every divine connection you've ever prayed for. And imagine you've been standing in front of it for years, knocking politely, waiting for someone to let you in. But what if I told you you've been holding the key all along? That the door doesn't open to timid knocking, it swings wide to the sound of authority. And authority in the spiritual realm is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is standing in the truth that what is yours by divine right cannot be withheld. When you speak this, you are not asking for permission. You are not bargaining with life. You are stepping into the role you were always meant to play, the one who walks through the door. And here's the truth no one told you. That door has been waiting for you longer than you've been waiting for it. Life is listening. It is always listening. And the moment you shift your words from "can I" to "I now receive," the hinges move, the light pours through, the air changes. Some will call it coincidence, others will call it luck. But you will know it was the moment you spoke the key. And when you speak it, you don't mumble, you don't rush. You speak it like someone who knows the door is already unlocking, because it is. A world has trained you to wait. Wait for a better time. Wait until you feel ready. Wait for a sign. But wealth, true divine wealth, does not come to the one who waits. It comes to the one who speaks. Not because the speaking forces anything to happen, but because it aligns every fiber of your being with the truth that it's already on the way. When you say the words, and I mean really say them, you are not just talking to the air. You are speaking into the structure of reality itself. You are announcing to God, to the universe, to your own subconscious, the door is open. I am ready. I am worthy. And I receive now. And something shifts. The same people who never seem to notice you suddenly remember your name. Opportunities that seemed far-fetched a week ago start to feel inevitable. The pressure in your chest eases because you're no longer running after wealth. You've become the one it runs toward. This is the divine reversal. This is the turning of the tide. The shift happens in your language first, then in your thoughts, then in your behavior, and finally, in your reality. And I want to be clear, this is not about repeating empty phrases like a parrot. This is about speaking with a spine made of certainty. It is about saying the words as if they carry the weight of heaven, because they do. There are moments in life where you can feel the power moving through you. It's not volume that makes it powerful. It's the knowing behind it. And when you speak with that kind of knowing, the door doesn't just open, it never closes again. From that moment on, your life operates under a new law. You speak it. It appears. Not because you're forcing it, but because you've stepped into alignment with the one who made it. The key is in your mouth. It always has been. When you speak, and the words carry the weight of truth, something in the unseen world takes notice. Not later. Not in a few weeks. Immediately. It's as if the air itself rearranges to carry your command to the farthest corners of your destiny. You see, you have been given dominion over your world, not by man, not by chance, but by divine design. And dominion is exercised through words. That's why the first barrier to wealth is silence, a silence born of fear, of not wanting to sound foolish, of waiting for proof before speaking your claim. But the truth is, silence serves scarcity. It keeps the door shut. It keeps the locks in place. The moment you open your mouth and declare, you've taken the key from the enemy and put it back in your own hand. Here is where the shift happens. You don't speak to ask. You don't speak to beg. You speak to command. Command not from arrogance, but from alignment. Alignment says, I am one with the source. What the source has, I have. What the source wills, I will. And when you speak from that place, the atmosphere changes. Phone calls arrive at the right moment. Ideas drop into your spirit in the middle of the night. People you haven't spoken to in years suddenly appear with the exact help you need. This is not coincidence. It's the echo of your own voice, returning to you in the form of answered prayers. So many think they are waiting on God. But heaven has been waiting on their words. Your command is the door handle. Your faith is the force that turns it. And the moment you do, you step into a room you were always meant to live in. When you finally decide to speak with the certainty of someone who already owns the promise, you stop wondering if the door will open and start preparing for what's on the other side. That's why the most dangerous time in your life is not when you are empty-handed. It's when you are double-minded, because double-minded speech wavers. It says the right words, but leaves a crack in the door for doubt to slip through. And here is the truth you cannot escape. Wealth responds to consistency. It doesn't obey the one who speaks for a moment, then retracts the command in the next breath. When you speak a command, you hold it in place, like a captain steering the ship in one fixed direction, even when the waves try to turn the wheel. The temptation will come to soften your command, to make it sound more polite, more acceptable to people who don't understand divine law. But let me be clear, the spiritual realm does not respond to timid whispers. It responds to authority. And authority sounds like this. By divine law, wealth flows to me now. Every channel opens, every delay dissolves, and every good thing appointed to me finds me without struggle. Say it without blinking. Say it without waiting to see if it works. Say it as though the command has already been fulfilled, because in the eternal realm, it has. When you walk into a room and turn on the light, you don't hope the electricity works. You flip the switch, and light fills the space without negotiation. Your command works the same way. It's the spiritual switch, and the more you speak it, the more you realize you're not trying to convince wealth to find you. You're simply standing in the place where wealth can no longer miss you. The moment you understand this, you'll stop chasing wealth and start standing still long enough for it to recognize you. See, wealth is like a trained messenger. It knows its assignment. But if you keep moving in circles, changing your mind, changing your words, changing your belief every few hours, you make the delivery impossible. The spiritual world is not confused. It's your signal that gets scrambled. And here's the hard truth most never face. You can pray all day. Light every candle. Speak every affirmation. But if your tone still carries hesitation, you've canceled the order before it even ships. Your words are the order form. Your belief is the signature. Without both, nothing leaves the warehouse. So when you speak like the owner, not the applicant. An owner walks into their own property without knocking. They don't beg to be let in. They don't explain why they deserve the space. They already have the key. You have the key. The question is, will you use it? And when you do, you must guard that doorway. Every doubt is a trespasser. Every what if is an intruder. Every complaint is a thief. You don't entertain thieves. You don't pour them tea and listen to their excuses. You shut the door and you keep it locked. That's why from this day forward, when your mind tries to drift into lack, you'll anchor it back with this command. By divine right, my wealth is secured. Nothing can block it. Nothing can steal it, and nothing can stop it from finding me now. Say it as you rise in the morning. Say it as you walk through your day. Say it until your very breathing carries the rhythm of certainty. Because certainty is the scent wealth follows. And once it picks up the trail, it will not stop until it's standing at your door. Here's what no one tells you. Wealth is already circling you. It's pacing outside the gates of your life, waiting for the moment you finally signal, it's safe, you can enter now. But for most people, the gates swing open in the morning and slam shut by nightfall. Why? Because their faith has a schedule. It only works when they feel good, when the day is kind, when nothing unexpected happens. But spiritual law doesn't bend to mood. It bends to consistency. It rises whether you cheer it on or not. It never says, "Today I don't feel like showing up." Your commands to the universe must be that steady. And here's the trap. The moment you speak your wealth into being, your mind will try to negotiate. It will whisper, "What if it takes too long? What if it never happens?" That is the moment you must be ruthless. That is the moment you say, "I do not answer to doubt. Doubt answers to me." Because doubt has no authority here. Not unless you give it permission. You are not a guest in this reality. You are the architect. You draw the blueprints. You sign the contracts. You approve the construction. And just as no builder stops halfway because the owner imagined the roof might leak, you don't stop halfway because your imagination got scared. Your words, every single one, are laying the foundation. Every time you say, "Money comes to me with ease," you place a brick. Every time you declare, I live in divine abundance, you pour the mortar. The only question is, are you building a mansion of wealth or a cage of lack? And here's the beauty. You can choose again right now. No matter how many times you've doubted, canceled your order, or walked away from the door, you can turn around, knock once, and walk back into your inheritance. Because the law never revoked it. It's been waiting patiently, silently, eternally. The moment you speak with certainty, the atmosphere shifts. It's not just your mind that hears you. It's every thread of reality, every molecule, every current of possibility that's been swirling above you like an unopened cloudburst. And here's where most people misunderstand. They think their words are simply affirmations, positive thinking, a nice little mood boost. No, your words are warrants. They carry legal authority in the courts of the unseen. When you say, wealth flows to me now by divine law, you're not making a wish. You're issuing a command that angels, circumstances, and even so-called coincidences must obey. This is why the tone in your voice matters. You cannot command wealth like a beggar and expect to be treated like a ruler. You must speak as though the gates have already swung open and the treasures are already inside your house. Imagine this. You place an order at a fine restaurant. The waiter nods, confirms, and disappears into the kitchen. You don't follow him in. You don't repeat your order every 3 minutes. You don't lean over the counter, asking if the chef is sure your plate is on its way. You trust. You sit. You prepare to receive. That is the posture of someone who understands divine law. And just like in that restaurant, your preparation proves your faith. If you say, I am ready to receive abundance, but your life has no room for it, no expectation for it, no gratitude in advance for it, you're leaving the table empty. So, prepare. Bless the bank account you have now. Bless the wallet in your hand. Bless the stream of income, no matter how small it looks in the moment. And speak over it. You will multiply under grace. Because wealth doesn't just come where it's commanded. It comes where it's welcomed. And every day you delay this, you teach your life that you're content without it. But every day you command it, and hold that command without apology, you become magnetic. Not just to money, but to every opportunity that makes wealth inevitable. The moment your voice carries certainty, your life recognizes its leader. Your mind straightens its spine. Your spirit expands in the quiet. And everything that has been circling above you, the opportunities, the helpers, the open doors, finally finds the courage to land. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's alignment. The law of the spoken word, the same law that shaped light out of darkness, still listens for a voice to follow. This is why I tell you, do not speak as though you're hoping. Do not speak as though you're trying. Speak as one who already has the deed in hand. When you say, I welcome rivers of wealth into my life now, say it with the kind of calm that only comes from knowing the bank transfer has already cleared. Most people rush their words. They throw them out into the wind like loose change, hoping something sticks. But those who understand divine law speak like sculptors. They choose each phrase like marble, cutting away doubt with precision. leaving behind a shape that cannot be ignored. Pause for a moment and feel the difference. I hope money comes to me versus money is now making its way to me, guided by divine appointment, without delay, without resistance. One is a wish, the other is a ruling. And here is a truth the wealthy rarely share. They don't spend their mornings wondering if their next opportunity will appear. They spend their mornings directing traffic, telling their day where to go, telling their resources how to multiply, telling their network when to expand. You may think you're waiting on life, but life has been waiting on your orders. So I ask you, what will you speak today that the universe cannot ignore? Will you rise and declare, "Today I walk in divine wealth, and everything I touch expands"? Or will you let another day drift by with your authority unused? Because wealth is not stubborn, it is obedient. It simply answers to the clearest, strongest, most certain voice in the room. And that voice must be yours. Every time you open your mouth, you set something in motion. You either release angels to gather the pieces of your answered prayer, or you send your blessings back into waiting. This is why you must guard your speech like treasure. Why you must catch yourself mid-sentence when you hear doubt trying to dress itself as realism. The universe does not know just kidding. It doesn't register sarcasm. It records your words as blueprints. And once you speak, it begins construction. So if you have been wondering why your wealth feels delayed, ask yourself, have I been giving my builders the wrong instructions? When you say, "I can't afford that," you hand the universe a blueprint labeled scarcity. When you say, "It's too hard to make money," you sign off on a design called delay. But when you speak with authority, wealth flows to me easily, opportunities present themselves daily, and money loves to be in my hands. You authorize a structure called Overflow. I have learned this. Your words carry weight far heavier than your effort. It's not the hours you work, it's the orders you give. And this is where divine law comes in. Because it is written, "You shall decree a thing, and it will be established for you." Not, "You shall suggest it." Not, "You shall request it politely." You shall decree it. A decree doesn't come from the lips of a beggar. It comes from the throne of one who knows their authority. And here is the beauty. That throne has been reserved for you since the moment you were formed. But authority unused is authority lost in practice. If you never speak like one who rules their life, you will live in a kingdom where every other voice outranks your own. So here's the shift. From this day forward, you speak like the owner of the land, not a visitor hoping for permission. When you say, "The door to my wealth opens now," see yourself holding the key. When you say, "Every resource I need finds me today," picture them already knocking at your door. Because the moment your words change, the moment you stop asking and start declaring, everything, and I mean everything, will begin to obey. And here's what will surprise you. It won't take months. It won't even take weeks. The shift begins the moment you give the order, not when the money arrives in your account, but the moment you speak and mean it. Because in the unseen, your words move faster than any wire transfer. They outrun market trends. They bypass gatekeepers. They slip past every delay the enemy tried to set in your way. Heaven hears, angels move, doors unlock. All because you spoke, not from fear, but from certainty. You see, faith is not silent. Faith doesn't whisper in hope, it commands in confidence. When you wake tomorrow, before you check your phone, before you rehearse yesterday's worries, you will speak. The door to my wealth is open now. Everything I have prayed for is walking toward me. Nothing can block it, and nothing can take it from me. I am in divine alignment, and my prosperity is inevitable. Say it slowly. Say it until your chest feels lighter. Say it until your voice carries the tone of someone who has already received. Because this is the part the world won't tell you. Once you open the door with your words, wealth has no choice but to enter. It's divine law, and divine law cannot be overruled. So as you hear my voice now, let this be the moment. Let this be the hour. Stand where you are, lift your head, and declare it for yourself. The door is open. The flow has begun. And your name is already written on what's coming next.